Okay, everyone, it is 10 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Carl, you think we ought to record this?
I'm recording it right now, actually.
Oh, well then okay. All right, everyone, welcome to Intro to Zoom and How to Use It. This is brought to you by Kelly and Carl. Woo.
Hello.
So feel free during the presentation to unmute yourself, and I'll show you how to do that in order to ask questions, or you can use the chat box that's provided for you. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with the system, you are in Zoom, so you've got the first step. On your screen is the box, and at the bottom you're going to see a list of icons. So I will show you what mine looks like real quick just to walk you through. You have icons to mute yourself, which we highly recommend that you do mute yourself when there's a lot of people in the room, because I don't know if you've all noticed already in some of the meetings that we've had, there's a lot of heavy breathing and a lot of background noise and people moving around, and it can be a little distracting. So you want to make sure that you are muting yourself, and the way you do that is just by clicking the mute button there. You can also add or take off your video. So yay, here I am. Video is optional for this. I know a lot of people don't like to watch themselves talk. I will say, as a librarian who's been kind of working with this technology for 6 years, it is always, it's like the best ever self-affirmation when you're giving a lecture and you are literally watching somebody fall asleep on their couch, slowly, quietly, as the class goes through. I've seen a lot of crazy things with the webcams. I've seen husbands looking for their pants. I've seen dogs. I've seen kids. It can be a lot of fun, but it could also be a little scary. So video can always be optional when you're using the system. The video is nice for DE students in terms of isolation, so that people feel like they're in a class together. But a lot of times when you do these kind of Zoom sessions, especially if you're teaching classes or you're doing big meetings, it's always good to kind of keep your video off, because interestingly, it uses a lot of bandwidth, and there are countries, areas in Watauga County, and even on campus, that if everybody's camera is open and working, it actually lags the system and can cause some complications. So that's, like I said, it's a personal choice to use it for sure, but it is cool, as someone had mentioned yesterday, to see that Brady Bunch effect, of everybody's faces in the screen. For those of you that may be giving a presentation, so maybe you guys are having a team meeting when you're using Zoom, or you're working with a colleague and you want to share your screen so that you can, show the folks what you're working on, or they can see what you can see, you can click on the share screen icon right here at the bottom. And what that does is that gives you the option to choose what you want to share. So there's a whiteboard option, which we won't go too far into the weeds, but if you have two desktops, you just choose the one you want everyone to see and you click share. A couple things to just note when you are sharing your desktop is that you want to make sure that your chats are off, or any calendar alerts are off, or if there's anything you don't want other people to see. So maybe you're secretly binge watching Netflix or something and you don't want to be judged on the show that you're watching. You might want to be sure that that's turned off, only because this is my desktop, so everyone can see what I have up. If you're one of those multitasking folks that has 80 tabs up there, you might want to take some of those down. It will also help it will keep the system from lagging, and B, you might be judged by your coworkers for having 80 tabs up. And I'm thinking about you, Carl, when I think about this.
I only have 6, so yay for me.
So the sharing is really important. What's cool about the sharing option, and Carl and I will kind of get more into the details of that a little bit into the session, but just so that you know that that's how you do it. And when in regards to recording, closed caption, you can have reactions, emojis, hand clapping. There's not a raise your hand, but there are other things that you can add. And as you are practicing using the system and playing with it, you'll find that you'll get more comfortable with it. So any questions so far just about kind of the way it looks and how to mute, unmute yourself, share your screen, anything like that, the chat box? Carl, is there anything you want to add to that before we move a little further into?
No, I think actually that's generally you covered everything. The one thing I would like to add, though, now that I think about it, in the future, because a lot of you are going to be working from home, we're going to be offering remote support as well. And the way campus has decided to do that is actually through Zoom. So what we will do is when we contact you to set up a Zoom meeting so we can help you, on your end, if you click share screen, you can choose basically what you want them to show. Like I have all these tabs open. So you would click share screen, click share, and then you can, on this top bar right here that appears, you can click remote control to grant remote control to whoever's helping you. And then that way they can actually remote into your computer and do what they need to do to fix it. So I'll go ahead and stop my share, but that would be the only thing I would mention, just from a tech support standpoint. That's a useful feature that we will be relying on in the future if we do all have to stay home. So.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah. That would be easier to use it through Zoom, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Go through the system. Okay. So how do you access Zoom, and how can you use it for yourself to set up meetings or virtual studying rooms or group projects or anything like that? So what you do is you go to appstate.zoom.us, and I'm going to copy and paste that and put it in the chat box. So if you click on the chat icon and the box will open up, that's where you can access the links. Googling AppState Zoom also works as well. I've had to do that a couple of times because I didn't have it saved as a tab. But everybody at App State, students, staff, and faculty have their own Zoom account. So that's actually really cool. A lot of the other schools in the UNC system don't give access to everybody, so you do have your own personal Zoom room that you can use. And the best way to enter it is to click where it says log in. So what I always encourage my DE students to do is just to follow along with me. So if you can open up another screen or another tab, maybe, so that you can follow along with me. So you can go to appstate.zoom.us, and then you can be doing this at the same time. Because it's always great to kind of learn how to do it at the same time as you're watching it, so I'm not just sitting here talking the whole time. So once you are logged in, you're going to see just basically a screen of your upcoming meetings, how to schedule a meeting, your personal meeting room. For those of you, this is your first time with Zoom. If you start working from home, we're going to have a lot of time to spare. I would get some time and spend on their video tutorials, which are very, very useful. It gives you a lot of the basic information that Carl and I are just going to briefly go over during this webinar. But it's a great way to go in and check out tutorials on how to do the bells and whistles that Zoom offers. There's also a really great knowledge base, which answers all your personal questions that you might have with it, which is also very useful. So I would start playing around with that just to get used to it. And it also, it's a lot easier to access help and get help from the Zoom Help Center than to try to find this stuff on App State sites, just because they tend to be buried. Carl, is there anything else you want to add about this, or?
No, I think actually you covered it all, Kelly. I think that's pretty much it. Honestly, I mean, the web interface, the web page is actually pretty intuitive. Are you going to show them how to actually set up a meeting and schedule a meeting and all that stuff?
Yeah, go for it. I'll let you do it, so I'm not talking the whole time.
Oh, okay, perfect. I'm going to share my screen real quick.
Share your screen, yeah.
Oh, kill your share.
I'm killing it now.
Awesome. Hey, look at that. Yay. Okay. So, let me get to the Zoom page here real quick. We'll just use this one. You'd think I'd already be logged in, but I'm not that prepared. Okay. So to schedule a meeting, the way I normally do it is click your meetings tab over here on the left-hand side, and you can schedule a new meeting at the top. Call it whatever you want. We'll just call this test. And then you can type whatever. I can't type. Wow, I cannot type at all today. There you go. And then you can pick your time that you want to schedule it for. I'll schedule this one for the 31st at 11 a.m. Sounds great. And then you have various options here that you can choose or not choose as you wish. If it's going to be recurring, like a team meeting that you want to schedule in perpetuity, you can click recurring meeting and it will just do that time every week until you tell it not to. Meeting ID generate automatically is generally what I choose. Everyone does have a personal ID, meeting ID number. So if you're doing a one-on-one with someone, you could give them that, and then that would just connect them directly to you. Password, you can set a password if you want to. I never do though. You can select if you want participants to have their video available or not, or yourself. Audio, you can choose computer audio, which is what most people use. If you want people to have the option to use a telephone and call in, you can choose that as well. Usually I just use both. And then the meeting options, all these are kind of self-explanatory, but the one I would bring your attention to is this one right here, mute participants upon entry. Generally, when I schedule a meeting, I always click that, just because a lot of times, if their speakers are too loud and their mic is too close to their speakers, it will cause crazy feedback and echoey effects and stuff. So I usually mute everybody when they join, and then when the meeting starts, unmute them one by one, and that way if there is one person that has a technical issue or the setup's such that they're picking up a lot of background noise, you can figure out really easily which one it is, and then just keep that one person muted if you have to, or at least tell them and let them adjust their settings so it doesn't do it. And the rest, like I said, are pretty self-explanatory. You can click this record meeting automatically if you want to, if you do decide that you want to keep it and have it for later so other people can view it. That's pretty much it. And then if you're doing like a co-presentation like me and Kelly are today, you can put in an alternative host name, which, like for me, I would type in, McAllister, whatever Kelly's username is at App State, and that would give her co-hosting ability. So basically she would have as much control as I do over like the settings and who gets to share and who doesn't and all that stuff. And pretty much that's it. I mean, it's all pretty easy.
Oh, sorry.
And then webinars, they do have live streaming capabilities through Zoom, but I would not recommend using them, but that's what that tab is. Recordings, if you do record your Zoom sessions, that's where that would be. If I can click on it, there you go. And so you have cloud recordings, and they only last for 120 days, or you can, if you want to, once you have a cloud recording, you can choose to download it locally onto your hard drive, and that's where that would be. I don't have any, but, and that's pretty much it.
Can I share my screen?
What was that?
Yeah, let me, there's one more way you can also do this. So if you don't want to go in and create a specific schedule in new meetings, so maybe you are monitoring the chat and you're getting a rather lengthy kind of question from a faculty member or student and staff, and they're asking you a lot of questions, and you're like, you know what, this would be so much easier if I could just see your screen. Maybe you're trying to troubleshoot. Maybe they're having issues with the database. Maybe you're in a meeting with a bunch of people on campus, and or you just need something real quick to just give somebody a link so that you can start talking. You have your own personal meeting room. Everybody has one. So if you click on where it says personal meeting room, you have an address that you can literally just copy and paste super quick and share. So for example, I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put it in the chat box. So for example, I'm monitoring the chat because I'm working the desk, or I'm working the desk virtually, and I've got the chat question. I'm going to send them my link. I'm going to encourage that person to click on the link, and that will open up Zoom directly. So without having to go in and create all of what Carl just showed you, which is very useful to use if you're doing an official meeting or you're doing an official instruction session like what we're doing right now. But if this is one of those, I need an answer really quick right now, maybe you've got the comptroller's office saying, hey, I need to see your screen, I need to see what you're doing, I'm not really sure, or I've got this problem, you can literally just use your personal meeting room link, and then you can hand it to them, and then Zoom will open up on your device. Zoom works very well on iPads, on phones. I know that there are many of us in Watauga County who don't have internet access, so you can run Zoom from your phone, but you are only a observer when you use Zoom on your phone in that capacity. So you can participate by listening and talking and being seen, but it's very difficult to monopolize the system or to run meetings using your phone. So just keep that in mind. Desktops and laptops seem to work best for that. iPads work slightly better, but if it comes to an official meeting, I would recommend using your laptops or your desktops and have a good connection in order to be able to follow the meeting and the information.
Yeah.
But I use the personal meeting room a lot when I'm working with distance education students or distance education faculty, just by sharing my link, because it does give them kind of that instant gratification. They can see the screens, we can share the screens. Any questions about that? And about what Carl's kind of showed you so far?
So when I tried to click on your personal meeting room, a window popped up, and then it was asking me to sign in rather than automatically go in there.
Great.
Then I accidentally closed the entire meeting down.
No, that's a great question, because that leads me to my next point, is that you cannot have concurrent Zoom sessions at the same time. You are only going to be able to run one at a time. So if you are the host, like for example, Carl and I are the host of this session, which means we cannot open up another session using our account. So you are not able to open up my personal meeting link because I'm in fact the host of this one, so it will not open and I will not be able to open it.
Okay.
We found when we are working with Zoom, when we do our virtual conferences, our webinars, if you know that you're going to work with a big group of people, you might want to have more than one meeting, which means you're going to want to have more than one host. So just keep that in mind, that you can't have more than one session open at once.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and like I said, this is, and if say that you are working the desk and you want to have Zoom open for reference, I mean, what you'll do is you'll go to each desk and have somebody log in and open up their account for that to be, so that each desk has a separate person. You won't be able to, so Ken, you won't be able to, for example, go to all 4 desks at the desk and log in as yourself. You're going to need to have other people log in if you want to keep that open for people to come in and ask for reference or questions. Something really cool that I kind of noticed in all of the crazy since we started using Zoom, and Carl, I know that you've probably participated in this as well, but as you can see with the video, you do see what's around you. So in my years of doing this, I have, seen people's houses, I have seen their kids, their dogs, I have seen, all kinds of things I probably shouldn't have seen. Because you are in people's homes, you are in their personal space. So it's very different than in teaching and instructing in a classroom setting, because that's very formal. You're in the front, everybody's at a desk. When you're zooming in and you're doing these online classes, you're in people's homes, you're in people's personal space. So that can be it can be challenging for sure. But we've learned lately, since all of this has gone down, that there is a way that you can change your background. And the best way to do that, so can you guys see my screen? Let me show you my screen so you can see how to do it. Okay. Oh shoot, the problem is it doesn't let me show you okay. So at the bottom of your screen where it says mute, so there's the mute icon on the left-hand side. There's the stop video icon on the back side. I want everyone to go to where it says stop video, and then there's an arrow. Do you see the arrow? Okay, click on that arrow and it will give you the option to choose a virtual background. So click on where it says choose a virtual background, and there are some templates that you can choose. So for example, I have always wanted to teach at Hogwarts. So I've clicked on it and now you can see my Hogwarts background. Don't judge, Carl. I know you are.
I am not.
It's goofy, it's fun, but I sat in a dean's meeting yesterday where everybody was changing their backgrounds for the first 5 minutes. So if the deans are having fun with it, I guarantee you will have fun with it too. So there are some pre-made backgrounds already. So, San Francisco, woo! grass. I'm thinking ticks, not necessarily my favorite. But it does give you the option to upload your own pictures. So you can actually add a picture or image. So you can find one online, go to one of our free imaging databases, or go to Bing, which I actually think has the better ones. Pick a background, upload it into your system, and then voila, you can be on the beach in Hawaii if you want to, or you can be at a soccer game in Spain. It's really up to you. But it's just kind of a goofy, fun thing that will keep you from going crazy in these crazy times.
And if you do want to be boring, I do have the library logo I created as a background.
Oh, show the library logo. Yeah, that would be awesome.
So
and I
there you
want
go.
everyone right now to pick a picture so I can see that first of all, that you're not on Facebook and you're actually listening. And two, let me see what you came up with. There's Lynn.
Hey, Lynn.
Come on, Ken, you have to pick one too. And Andrea, we're putting you on the spot.
I can't find the option on mine.
Somehow I'm upside down.
That happens too. Oh wait, there you go. Wow, Ken, you're like literally upside down. So while you guys are goofing off with that, are there any questions? Or, like I said, it's really self-explanatory. So yeah, here's the cats in space, which is also pretty cool.
Whoa, that's awesome.
Yeah, my daughter picked that one. Which one do you have? Yeah, you've got space too.
Yeah, I'm boring. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, Ken went the library route. Very nice.
Good job, Ken.
Yeah, Lynn's
See.
got it. Something crazy going. There we go. Nice job, Lynn. So yeah.
I'm having trouble.
Yeah. I'll come help you out. So if there's any questions, comments, like I said, it's a pretty simple system to use, and feel free to contact me or Carl or Molly or any of us that have been working with this system for a while now. But yeah.
Oh.
Okay, that was crazy. All right, well, if you don't have any other questions or need anything, just give us a call, let us know, and stay safe out there.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.